Hello everyone! The Last of Us Part 2 paints Joel as this cruel man that took away the possibility of a cure, a vaccine for the quadriceps infection, that fungi infection, and killed Abby's father, the only doctor that could save the world with this vaccine. Now, was this true or is this misinformation? And I'm here to tell you that it is definitely misinformation. Now The Last of Us 2 tries to retcon events from the first game. If you don't know what retconning means, it's basically to alter events from the past to fit the new narrative in the present time. And a lot of movies and series and games try to do this for several reasons. Unfortunately, some are more successful than others, and most of the time is annoying. But few times have I seen a more in-your-face approach than in this game. First of all, they try to change the events that happen in the hospital. If you remember, in the hospital, Joel does not want them to kill Ellie, and he's very upset, and they try to force Joel out of the hospital and basically try to warn Joel that if he tries anything, they're going to kill him. And Joel fights the first guard, kills him, and then goes in the direction to save Ellie, and they try actively with guns to stop him. And when he reached the operating table, the first surgeon takes the scalpel and threatens Joel.
Doctor, what are you doing? I won't let you take her. Don't come any closer.
No! And in that moment, Joel gets closer to the doctor, takes the scalp from him while fighting him, and kills the doctor. And then you have like a section where you basically have some gameplay and you have the choice to kill the other doctors or not. And actually I think I chose not to kill them one time and I killed them another. I'm not sure, but I think I did that just to see the difference. But there's not a big difference in the sequence. It takes Ellie. The other doctors are basically afraid and not resisting. Took Ellie, and then finally you kill Marlene, that tries to stop Joel with the gun, and Joel has the gun hidden and manages to shoot Marlene. Marlene begs for her life, but Joel basically says that if he lets her live, she's going after Ellie again. Now, these events could seem ambiguous to some people, but I'm going to explain in a bit why they are not ambiguous. But first, let's explain how The Last of Us 2 changes these events to fit the narrative that Joel is bad. And of course, it gives the backstory for that nameless doctor of the first game, and now Abby's father, and this great guy that was convincing Marlene to kill this little girl without her consent, but it was the only doctor that was able to create this vaccine. Now, without going back to the events of the first one, we can already tell this is bullshit, and this is contrived bullshit, bad writing. Because are you really supposed to believe that the only doctor who could take this immune person and create a vaccine from it would be a doctor working for a terrorist organization that was malfunded, that was almost broken when the first game started, being chased down by government authorities, and in a ditchy, broken down hospital, that guy was going to create a vaccine? First of all, when they flash back to that sequence, they show Joel's face, and Joel's face has a look of pleasure, something that clearly was not the case in the first game.
Sweet Jesus.
Doctor?
What are you doing? I won't let you take her. This is our future. Think of all the lives we'll save.
Joel was immediately conflicted by these informations and struggled a little bit with them until he decided, no, I need to save Ellie. So that face would not make any sense with the characterization of the character at that time. And secondly, every time the conflict is pushed to Joel, either by Ellie or by Abby, Joel doesn't defend himself. And that doesn't make any sense, especially with Ellie. Like with Abby, you can maybe imagine that Joel is in such a dire situation, why would he try to explain? He doesn't even know who Abby is. It could be anyone from the Fireflies. He doesn't know that he's the doctor's daughter. He only knows that it's revenge for what happened that time. But with Ellie, he could explain, here was the situation, this is why I did it, I was not proud of it, but it was your life with no guarantee of a cure. And they didn't give you that choice. And that's very important because Ellie tells Joel that he stole the choice from her, but the Fireflies stole that choice first when they basically put her immediately on the hospital, drugged her, and were getting ready to operate without any consent, without ever discussing this with Ellie herself. But the game glosses over this and a lot of times tries to mention that Joel caused the vaccine. So he basically is the reason why we don't have a vaccine. And that's the biggest lie of the game, because the vaccine was impossible to begin with. If you actually explored in The Last of Us 1, you would find some tapes from the Fireflies, and in those tapes it's revealed that they had operated previous patients, and it's implied that there were people that were immune like Ellie. And every time they killed the patient and they could not produce a vaccine. And the reason is very simple, because you cannot create a vaccine from a fungi. A quick biology lesson: viruses are the ones we create vaccines for, because they are not living beings, they are clumps of DNA inside a capsule that basically enters our system, uses our cells to replicate itself, and for a good amount of time our system does not know what it is. It doesn't know that it's an external organism. It basically treats it as parts of its own body until it detects that it's something wrong and creates immune responses to fight it off. A vaccine is nothing more than the inactive version of that virus that gives time for our organism to create those defenses. When the active virus comes into our system, our organism already has enough defenses that immediately fights off the virus and does not let it replicate. Unfortunately, fungi and bacteria are not like this. They are external organisms. Our bodies immediately detect them as external organisms, and the way we fight bacteria infection and fungi infection are completely different, and sometimes even easier, because there are medicines that can attack those cells, those external cells, without attacking our own body, unlike viruses. That's why we have antibiotics, for example. So this idea of creating a vaccine was impossible to begin with, and that's why it failed before, and it was going to fail again with Ellie. They were basically going to kill an innocent girl without her consent and for nothing. And to make matters worse, you could actually study her blood and check for antibodies and other immune system responses that were actually fighting the fungi infection and could be used for a treatment. Immunotherapy is something that is becoming more and more popular. Not only that, but maybe you could synthetically devise some antibiotics similar to what Ellie had in her bloodstream to fight off the infection. But that could only happen if she was alive. So actually the Fireflies were the ones that were going to kill the possibility of a cure again. So when we have all the information available, we actually see that Joel did nothing wrong. Now Joel did not know a lot of this information. Joel did not understand biology. The only thing that Joel knew is that they had killed people like Ellie before and without good results and no vaccine. And he knew that it was wrong to kill her without her consent, and Joel knew that he loved Ellie and he did not want her to die. Well, that's my rant for today. I may do more videos on The Last of Us Part 2 because I find that there's so much wrong with it that I can't just let it go. And the only other time that I saw this was with DMC Devil May Cry, and I'm actually working on another video that is going to compare the situation between that game and the situation between this game, because there are actually more similarities than you might think at first. But that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.